You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. In Minnesota, former Brooklyn Center police officer Kimberly Potter wants to keep cameras out of the courtroom for her criminal trial. No shock. Potter's lawyers filed a motion this week in Hennepin County DA court asking the judge not to allow the trial to be broadcast or live streamed. However, prosecutors say audio and video coverage is necessary to provide the type of openness and transparency that is crucial to public trust and respect for the judicial process. Potter is on trial for the shooting death of Daunte Wright. The former officer fatally shot Wright during a traffic stop on April 11th and is charged with second-degree manslaughter. Her trial is set to begin on December 6th. Michael, should cameras always be allowed in the courtroom, especially when it's involving a police officer-involved shooting?
I don't know for certain that they should always be allowed in the courtroom. I know different cities have different policies, things like that. So I don't know if they should always be. I think in a situation that is high profile, it's a good idea first of all, for transparency. It's a good idea to have it. Like in a situation like this, it's a good idea to have it. But you know what's interesting in this case, reading the argument from her defense attorney, Attorney Ng, Paul Ng, E-N-G-H. He one of the things he said is that she is experiencing threats to her life. Well, she was a threat to Daunte Wright's life. That was an execution. Now, she yelled taser, taser, taser 3 times, and we can see on her body cam that she had a gun, not a taser. But I find it interesting where he's making an argument, oh, well, they're threats on her life. Well, she was a threat to his life. So they should want to have cameras, to have transparency, you know. And he said it would interfere with her having a fair trial. How so? How would that interfere with having a fair trial? It didn't interfere with Derek Chauvin having a fair trial, you know. So this is interesting, but I think they should have cameras here. Now, in every police shooting, I'm not exactly sure. I know different cities have different laws, but you know, I don't think it would hurt. I don't think it would hurt if they did.
I want cameras in all of them, Faraji. All of them. These are public servants who are paid with public dollars. The public should be able to see.
No doubt. And I think one of the big cases out of Minnesota where they did have cameras in the courtroom is Derek Chauvin. And going back to what Brother Michael was saying in terms of transparency, I think that's true. But I'm really I think it should be a case-by-case basis. Here's why. Just because you might have some children that might be testifying in some of these cases that we want to protect their identity. And you might have some other vulnerable folks that might be involved in these cases. I think there should be a case-by-case basis. But for this case, oh no, we need to have the cameras up there.
But here's the deal, though. I've seen this. Okay. I've seen this other cases, Niambi, where they shielded young folks who testified. You can take precautions, but to say no cameras, no live streaming at all. Nah, I believe there's value in being able to see and hear for ourselves the prosecution, the defense, the witnesses, because the shooting deaths are public events. And I think by the public being able to see all of the trial, it helps, I believe, diffuse what actually happens.
And I agree with you. I mean, and just like Daunte Wright's death was public, this trial needs to be public. And I'm sorry, you know, it's hard for me to look at that picture of that young man because that boy should be alive and that baby should have his father. And this whole question about this officer and thinking about her and what's going to make her comfortable and what's going to be best for her. I mean, it was a little late for that when you killed this boy over an air freshener hanging from his rearview mirror. What was that harming? in that very moment. And what was so dangerous about this boy in that moment that you either would reach for your taser, right? This is where, again, that training, and it's supposed to be a seasoned officer, comes in. And I agree with you, Roland. We have the technology to pixelate the faces. We can do voice things to their voices to make it more difficult to identify them. We can even say, hey, maybe for this portion of the trial, we'll only do audio. There will be no video. There are a variety of things we can do to protect the vulnerable. But this idea that somehow, broadcasting this trial is going to bring this officer more death threats. Well, the death threats allegedly were already there, and there has been no trial yet. So why would televising this trial ramp that up? And I think you're exactly right, that if this trial happens behind closed doors and the public that has been protesting and that has been active in the streets doesn't see anything at all, it's going to make this a much worse situation and perhaps a more volatile situation than it already has been.
Folks, back to that Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Racial injustice is a scourge on this nation, and the Black community has felt it for generations. We have an obligation to do something about it. Whether it's canceling student debt, increasing the minimum wage, or investing in Black-owned businesses, the Black community deserves so much better. I'm Nina Turner, and I'm running for Congress to do something about it.